Stirrup Consultants has been hired by Howard University to improve recruitment. SC has surveyed 500 recruiters at colleges and universities across the country to get a sense of what contributes to the productivity of a college recruiter. Analyze the data to see if there is an equation that allows Howard University to predict how many students a recruiter could recruit in a month. So we have this huge amount of data. The first thing we need to do is figure out what is our Y, what is our output. And if we go through it line by line, we generally know how many years of education and how many years of experience someone has before the fact. We should know how old they are right now. We should know before the fact how much bonus we're willing to pay. And we can kind of tell them how many calls and or emails to send a day. The one thing we don't know until the end is how many recruits they can make per month. Okay, so let's go to our data analysis, and run our regression. So our Y is recruits per month. And, wow, there's a lot of data. And our X is everything else. Okay, let's unclick constant as 0 and take a look at our first regression. Now, of course, the first thing we do, as we always do, is we check the R squared. R squared is 91%, which is pretty damn good. Darn good, excuse me. We look at our p-values, and some of our p-values are good, some of them are very good. Years of experience is a bit high. It looks like it might not really be a contender. But intercept is very high. It's 0.99. So let's go ahead and get rid of the intercept and run the regression again. So we go to data analysis, regression, and we set constant as 0 and click OK. What is the problem? A1 to A501. A1 to F501, G1 to G501, constant is 0. Input range must include at least one data point. Oh, I'm on the wrong sheet. If you ran into this, I'm sorry. The data is actually on sheet 2. So we want to go to data analysis, regression. The Y range is 1 through 501. The X range is A1 through F501. Constant is 0. We click OK. And we look at our regression. Our R squared is now 98%, which is not as good as before, but it's still very, very good. Years of experience is still too high, though everything else is really, really good. So let's go ahead and get rid of years of experience from our regression and run it again. So we want, which column is years of experience? It's column B. Let me go ahead and delete column B. So data analysis, regression, the Y range stays the same, but the X range is now this through this all the way down. And click OK. Oh, because I deleted the column, there is no G column anymore. We have to say that's now F. Click OK. R squared is still 98%, which is great. Our p-values are all within range. Recruitment bonus obviously is very much a factor. And so the equation that we're looking at is something along the lines of, okay, it's recruits per month. Recruits per month is equal to 0.044 times years of higher education plus, or actually minus 0.019 times age plus 0.004 times the bonus for each dollar of bonus plus 0.04 times the calls per day plus 0.019 times the emails per day gives us our equation. And if we to look at the coefficients, what they tell us is pretty much the older the better, the higher their bonus the better, the more calls and emails they make a day per better. I'm sorry, not the older the better. The more years of education the better, but the younger the better. But if we had to choose, given that the magnitude of the coefficient for years of education is 0.044 and the coefficient for age is 0.019, it's more important to have an extra year of education than it is to be a year younger. Almost twice as much as important, okay? So once we have now that we have our equation, we can sit here and say higher ed years, age, bonus, calls, and emails, and recruits per month is our total. So this is equal to, and I could multiply it out the long way, but I would rather take the shortcut, some product of this and this, which is basically the same as going down the line as saying higher ed years times this plus age times this plus bonus times this. So if we had someone who had 4 years of college, they were 30 years old, they were paid a $1,000 recruitment bonus, they made 50 calls per day, and they sent 50 emails a day, then they would probably bring in 6.6 recruits per month.